Hi there, I'm Lisa and today I am designing for Cocoa Daisy with my April kit. I've got 101 things to do and instead I've had a sudden urge to scrapbook, so I'm seizing that urge and I am going to create a really quick page. I'm actually going to time myself and see how long this takes. It's currently 6 minutes past 10 in the morning and I'm going to see how quick it really does take to do this. So I'm starting by trimming down my white cardstock. So this will now fit neatly in the middle there. This is a piece of Cocoa Daisy paper that I'm sticking it to. I'm doing a layout, a real life layout today, and as the kit is called Real Life, and this one is about my daughter learning to drive. It's a scary thought when your child suddenly starts driving. So I kind of thought the paper here represented kind of like a street map, so that's why I've used that. Got a photo here. It's 3.5 by 3.5 inches. This was her driving. I was sat in the back seat while my husband sat in the front last week, and I printed it off with a big white border. I'm going to be using, I've got some of this American crafts here. I've got some simple stories which I've already cut out and used. I've got some of the alphabets here from the main kit from Pretty Little Studio. This piece from Pretty Little Studio. This from Pretty Little Studio, and one of the Day in the Life kits. And I'm going to work with a mask too, which is my next part. I'm going to do this next as I want to do a little bit of fussy cutting so the misting can then dry. Now I don't want to mist and get those sides, so I need to get something just to cover those. I generally go and visit my rubbish bin when I do that. It's always a good place to go for scrap paper, isn't it? Okay, and I'm going to go with yellow. I've got this buttermilk cream here. So that's my misting. I'm going to leave that to dry, and in the meantime I've got a couple of pieces of this paper here from American Crafts that I just want to cut out. Fussy cutting done. I am now going to be using the Day in the Life card here. I want to slot the photograph underneath. I'm going to use the ruler to get it straight, and I'm going to use this craft knife, and that can sit nicely. I'm going to trim a little bit more of the frame down. There, the photograph sits really nicely in there now. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to stick the Day in the Life card down, and I've trimmed the top and the bottom of the Pretty Little Studio strip down. All of those words relate to this layout, and I'm also going to use the leaves that I fussy cut from the paper. I'm going to attach that with 3D foam tape, just a few dots. Slide that underneath. I think the photograph needs a bit more glue in place. I'm going to work on the title next. I'm going to use the word real. I did actually already use one of these in another layout that I've done. Received 2 of these pieces of patterned paper now. Also fits in really perfectly, and funnily enough this layout here will belong in my daughter's album, and the other one where I used the same piece of patterned paper belongs in my son's scrapbook album, so it doesn't really matter. I'm also going to take the heart here just to show you that if the card doesn't relate to what you're doing, you can still use it. And there I have it, a little heart embellishment. I've got one of the little cards here, the stickers that came, I think this was in the Day in the Life kit. On here, so it's this moment captured, and I'm going to pop that on there. Now I've got the blues and then the reds, that stands out really nicely. Now back to my title work. I've cut out the reel, and I'm going to use these from Pretty Little Studio. I'm going to stick these letters that I've cut out flat down so that they kind of appear in the background. I'm going to use PVA actually. And I'm sticking on these other letters with 3D foam tapes so that they really pop. So although it's slightly overlapping the word real, it still should stand out. In the same little pack here that I'm using, there's some really nice other bits and pieces, so I think I'm going to just add some of these, just sticking them on with PVA glue. Although they're quite pale colours, I quite like that with this layout that I'm creating. Lots of contrast to the layout, which I really like. We'll overlap that. Let's add as I like balance. Let's pop that one up. And I'm just going to finish this layout by cutting a couple of these flags out. I want the bright ones. I'm going to try and cut them out with a white edge, as I do prefer to add a white edge to most things that I do. So I've cut out the flags and I've just stapled 2 on the top, and I've also ruled a couple of lines there and for my to add my journaling. Now the circle stencil that I used I ended up covering most of it up, so I've cleaned it off, otherwise it would be wet to go on my page. I've decided not to mist again because I don't want it everywhere, and I'm going to use a pastel instead. Just purely, 1, because it's a bit cleaner, and 2, because I can rub it off if I'm not happy. And I'm going to add a little bit down here like that, and some more up here. I think I might just add a little bit more along here. I just feel that with the pastel you're just that bit more in control. There. So that is my layout. Finish this one. I'm not going to add anything else. You can rub off the excess there if you want to. And I will add a couple of close-ups as well. Really pleased with that. Pleased that I went back with the stencil again, actually. I'm really pleased. And I just like that extra bit of colour. And I have captured one of our real life moments of Holly learning to drive. And the actual time is 10:41. So this layout took me about half an hour to make. Really pleased with that, and I'm glad I listened to my heart and scrapbooked. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you soon. Bye.